Well, welcome everybody on this Mindful Monday, and thank you so much for enjoying us. For joining us today. As you know, we enjoy being your resource for education, connection, and collaborations to support you on your wellness journey. And I want to start by thanking our sponsors, Therese Skelly, White Sands Premier Travel, and Vibe, because without these sponsored appearances, Mindful Mondays just would not be possible. So I hope you guys are ready for today. And we're talking about soul driven success unleashed. So if you are ready to improve your personal or your professional life, you are in the right place because we have with us a powerhouse author, an intuitive business mentor, and she is here to help you unleash the energy within and lead a soul driven life. She blends her unique blend of psychotherapy. I'm not used to the big words. Okay, psychotherapy, business coaching, and sharp intuition. She empowers service-based entrepreneurs to break through barriers and activate their highest potential. She is also her best-selling book, Love-Based Mission, but that is just the beginning. So Therese is joining us today to share her insights and on transforming your mindset, aligning your inner shifts with actionable strategies, and thriving financially while nurturing your spirit. So Therese, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's the short version.
It's going to tall order. We got to get going on this. I'm like, gosh, what a title. That's fantastic.
I know.
Yeah.
I know she got so much going on too. I'm like, that is the short version, but
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
Nice.
So can you share with us what was your journey to becoming a coach like, and how did your soul guide you into this space?
That's such a great question. I really would say I'm the accidental entrepreneur. Because I was a psychotherapist, and Laura, I loved it. I had, fighting couples and crazy people. And I never saw myself do anything else. I was a mom with small kids, and it was a perfect job. I loved it. I have a master's degree. I worked for, 20 years doing that. And I just kind of got the hit like in 2001, I should go to life coaching school, which really it's not much of a jump, but It was a whole world for me. And so I did that, but it's not, again, coaching therapy. They're sort of interchangeable in terms of the techniques or, I'm working with people.
Right.
And the crazy part is I saw an ad that said business coaches wanted. Now, what you have to know is I haven't had a counseling master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
I was a prison guard. I have a criminal justice degree.
Oh my gosh!
I worked in prison. I mean, I was like, I think there was zero, not a ever an ounce of any part of me. I never read a business book. I never worked in corporate America. And so the crazy part, Laura, is I saw a newsletter, like a little newsletter said business coaches wanted. Now, the rational part of me that's like, girl, like you have no qualifications. I strangely, my hands are on the keyboard, and I'm like watching my hands fill out the application. And then the next day I have an interview, and the next time I'm a business coach. So I call it like getting thrown into the pool with like the floaties.
At least you have floaties. Yes.
So I had a whole lot of imposter syndrome and a whole lot of like, oh man, I got to figure out what in the heck I'm doing. And so that to me is, and I really like this story because it's sometimes our soul is not on the same trajectory we are, right? I would have been a mom of kids and a little safe career. And my soul's like, tee, no. We're going here, girl. And I literally will say, with everything I've gone through, that is probably the most important decision I've ever made. And it was the first time that I remember like getting the urge, because I didn't know soul. I was like, I don't know, I'm a therapist. I'm just like, weird. Okay, I guess I'm going to type this. I didn't understand what was guiding me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look back on that, I was like, that one decision has been the thing that changed my life more than anything in the world for the good, right? It's just like, oh. And so we start with, are you listening? Are you listening? Right? Because most of us, like, that didn't make sense nobody would have said, oh, you should pick Therese. She doesn't even know what a freaking spreadsheet is, but hey, she'd be a good, right? And so sometimes what's asked of us or where we're called to go, the human mind is like, okay, that's crazy. There's no way. I'm making this up. Like I'm on drugs. Like what is happening? So it's like navigating that your soul's pulling you to go a certain direction, and the human in you is like, there's no way. That's the work. And that's what I do with my clients, is like help kind of unpack all that. So that's where I'll start. That's how I got here.
Wow. So I'm actually kind of still blown away at that, because I've gotten to know you, but I didn't know that you were ever a prison guard. How did I just have to ask before we dive into the rest? What drove you to go there?
Yeah, that was interesting. So I was at a college, and I think I had to take like some, extra. I think it was my second year, so I didn't really even have a degree picked yet.
Uh,
And so I'm like, oh, okay, I'll take criminal justice, whatever. And I really believed in justice reform. I really liked that. And then there was an opportunity, because I had a bachelor's degree by this point. It was like, well, you could apply to be a guard first, and then you can move your way up to the be a counselor in a prison. And it was so I don't know, in my 20s. It was during the 80s. I'm dating myself. You remember like the punk hairdos with
oh
the
yeah,
like
I'm an
kind of,
'80s child. I'm right there
yeah.
with you.
And the inmates used to call me Piggy Punk, because I was literally like this tiny, and I had this like like Pat Benatar hair with a frosted tail. And so it was such a learning experience. It was you shouldn't put a little codependent girl that just wants to help people to be a guard. Like that was like it was just like,
Not a good mix.
what? And but it was so fascinating. I think we're put places for a reason, and it was really hard on me because I had no boundaries, totally codependent. I was like, ugh. But I learned like, wow, there, but for the grace of God go I, right? Like
Hmm.
full disclosure, I had driven drunk before. I just didn't get caught. I just, you know what I mean? I
Right,
had
right.
wanted to kill my brother in a crime of passion because he, ate my boyfriend's cake, right? So, like, there were women that were there for domestic, they had been assaulted, and they just finally snapped and killed somebody. So it was a very interesting. It was a minimum security women's prison, and at the very young age, I was able to be like, I'm not that different from you. I just didn't get caught, or I had different privilege. So it was really eye opening. It was like very hard. I lasted a few years.
Put yourself through your own Scared Straight program.
Pretty much, pretty much. So it's like, "Woo." Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, she's in here for murder, and she turned out to be lovely, right? But it was yeah. I didn't expect that one, but
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
There you go. I don't usually talk about that stuff online,
No.
but here we
So
go.
I was just curious, because I
So
was just
it's
like,
it's a
wow.
wild story from prison
Yeah.
guard to here. Yeah.
And we use, the words coach and all that other stuff, but now a lot of people I notice go kind of away from coach and go more towards mentoring, because I don't know, I guess any term can be overused or get stereotyped. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So what is your passion, or what do you prefer for, or do you even care about titles necessarily?
Yeah, I'm so and I've wrestled with that. I was a coach, but I'm not. Blah, blah, blah. I'm a guide. I'm a companion, and what I came to, because I do. So I have this background. Like I'm really good at the psychological, the unconscious. Like genius in that. I have 40 years experience in that, and then I'm really good with business coaching stuff. And then like, oh my gosh, I know intuition. What in the heck? Like I'm super like a wildly accurate intuitive, and I couldn't put them together forever, and didn't know how to talk about my work. And one of my friends that I used to coach her, I do my magic. I have my pendulums and all my things, right?
Uh-huh.
And she said, what do you do? And I said, well, I do this and I do this and I do this. She goes, well, oh, you're an intuitive business mentor. And I'm like, huh. And then she said, no, you're the intuitive business mentor. And oh my, oh, Laura, when I was like, I was like, can I own it? But that kind of like finally brought them all together, because it was really confusing. Like, oh, kind of this, and I'm in three different worlds, and they
Right.
fit together exquisitely.
Hmm.
And so when somebody said, what do you do? I go, I'm a business coach. You know what I mean? Like I still revert to what you're not supposed to do, but so I don't really worry about the titles as much. When my clients are like, what should I call myself? I'm like, it's energy anyway, right? I don't
Oh
even
yeah.
I don't even know what your title is, and I'm like, gosh, she's so cool. Like when you're playing in the energy field, we don't have to work so hard on getting the words exactly right, right? So it's like,
Right.
who cares? Who cares? Just show up and be you. That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, that's like I've had people tell me, I'm confused. So what exactly are you or what do you do? I said, I am the entrepreneur of me. You can put whatever label you
There
want
we
on it,
go.
right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Entrepreneur
Yeah,
of me. That's just it.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, no
don't
need to
waste
get a
time.
hooked up on
Mhm,
labels. So
mhm.
maybe you can tell, because I know I've been asked, and I'm fairly new to the space. So I'm curious as to how you define or how you would explain to people what exactly it means to be intuitive.
That's a great question. So we get messages all the time, right? And imagine if we are like our bodies, our energy, our we're just a receiver. And sometimes the messages we receive, like I'll give you an example. So when I didn't understand the world of energy, like 9/11, okay, 9/11,
Right.
I was a therapist. And that meant after 9/11, every day I had people come in every day, talking about how traumatized they were about 9/11, as we all were.
Mhm.
And I didn't understand why I was sick for 4 months with bronchitis. Now we know grief is in the lungs. I didn't understand that I was taking on their grief, their horror, their energy. So my body, because I'm a big freaking empath, like
Yep.
so sometimes we have experiences in our body. It's like, God, what is going on? And so I'm always like, is it mine? Is it something else? Is it, so you want to, if you're off, just because I think what happens, Laura, is we just go through life like, God, it's really weird. I feel insecure. I don't know why I don't feel good. As opposed to, I wasn't this way yesterday. What's happening? Like, was it something I was thinking that tunneled me down a hole? Was
Mhm.
it, oh, something happened in the world events? Was it, it's an anniversary and, oh yeah, shoot, my mom died 4 years ago on this day. Like there's so we're receivers and our body takes in all this stuff. So number one, know that. Number two, I believe the way I frame it, it's like we're connected with the divine. We're connected with God, life source. We're like one with nature. And just as my trees are growing, I'm going to be growing too, right? Like, so
Right.
there's this, I think this impulse to always be expanding. That's just our nature because we're the same as nature, right? Like it's not like, that's all you get. You don't read
Right.
another book, don't stop. Like we're all like, oh, that'd be fun to do. Oh my God, I always want to do that. Like we're wired to do that. But then there's the other part of it that's like, oh heck, that'd be scary. Oh my gosh. So there's the expansion part and then the contraction part. And so the party that wants to expand, the party that gets like, Laura, why do you want to start a TV show? Laura, why do there's the voice, and you can call it God, you can call it life, your higher self, whatever it is for you, that's kind of like working you. Like, we're going to move Laura over here. No, we're going to push up. Laura needs to explore. Like that to me is you connected with the God, the universe, the divine, your higher wisdom that's kind of running your life a little bit, putting you in places, giving you opportunities, giving you like, I've always wanted to read that book, whatever it is, right?
Right.
That's the divinity part. That's the spiritual, and I call that intuition. It's like our soul talks to us. Now, how do we know it? So you might have a gut feeling. You might feel it in your heart. You might see a vision of yourself. I get like, I'm like I just know. I'm like, oh, that's it. Boom. Right. It's like the clairaudience,
Mhm.
clairsentient, whatever those are. So intuition is like, oh, like I got this hit to go be a business coach. What in the hell? Right. I could have said like, uh, okay, I know I'm not on drugs. It's not for
Right.
me. So I'm like, huh, okay, boom. So the goal is to get whatever it is and then kind of sort it out and say, is it mine? Do I act on it now? What's the essence of that? Like, okay. So that's a super long, I could go on for days about this one, but do you have anything to want to share or ask questions on?
No, and I love how you explain that because I've had people ask me, it's like, okay, I'm still at the point where I'm still not sure how to describe it. But the
Yeah,
more I got to be around people, the more I realized it's like, okay, now that makes some of the things in my past or things that I experienced before make sense. That
exactly.
didn't make sense to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
And from what I'm hearing you saying, from what I understand, we all have it. But
100%.
if
Yes.
we all have it, but we're so it's if you stay kind of, I guess, shallow, I want to say, or just on the surface and
Hmm.
not look at things and just look at something else. Because like you said, I used to take on all my friends everybody's, and I'd start to not
Mhm.
feel well, or I'd
Mhm.
get upset, and then all of a sudden I got aches, I've got pains, or I'll have chest
Yes,
pains, and I was like,
yes,
"What is going on?"
yes.
And I never knew to look deeper to find out what is going on. I just
Yeah,
assumed something was going wrong with me
right.
because
Well,
we're not
that's
taught
the
all
thing.
those other things.
No, no, no. See, literally, our body is like if imagine it's just all energy. It's all energy,
Mhm,
and I am a receiver. So you either have to be really hardened or checked out, kind of, if you will. Like when there's disasters, or even the elections, or even tragedies, or whatever, it's going to impact you because millions of people are having an experience, and we're just vibrational beings. And if half the people are grieving and scared and traumatized, it's going to get on you a little bit,
right,
right? And
right.
so, or if you're with somebody who's sick or dying, or you're like your friends got stuff, that's the challenge for the empaths, right? To be like, oof, some shield, like, no, 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 right? Or like, I was at church. This was like 20 years ago, before I knew I was one. I was sitting by myself. There was a woman next to me. I was in the second seat. There was a woman next to me, just listening to the service. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to pass out. Like, what? Whoa, what? It was really scary. And then
Mhm.
2 minutes later, the paramedics are at the woman next to me who's having a heart attack. And I'm like, she never alerted me. She never said a word.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my, oh. And like it showed, like, even though my head is not, I'm
Mhm.
not watched, she's not clenching her chest. She's just sitting there quietly. And then suddenly the paramedics are there. And I'm like, shit, love some of that, right? And so that's just on the physical. So there's the physical level, and then there's the potentially overwhelm of feelings,
Mhm.
or there's so many layers we could go for days, and then
Oh,
let's not even
there's
talk
lots of layers, yeah.
about.
But what was the pivotal moment for you when you decided, like, to break free from societal expectations and follow your own path?
So when I started in this coaching space, like I was accepted because I had a master's degree in counseling. So I could say I did mindset. Like I could be business coach and marketing strategist, and I know mindset, right? I kind of could
Mhm,
sneak that in because I had a degree and I was qualified. But Laura, I kept knowing things that I would just know things. And I'm like, how do I know? Like they didn't teach me that in therapy school. And so I kind of like would kind of sneak. And I was, at the time I was using muscle testing. Now I do everything via like the pendulum. I use that to kind of gauge where things
mhm.
are. Um, and I would kind of sneak with my clients, and I'd be like, hey, can I play with something with you? And I'd be like, what happened when you're, yeah, I'm getting, oh, it was on your mother's father's side. What was going on? And it would just blow, like wherever they were blocked would just like it. I would be shown, like, ask that question, go there, get this age, boom. And they would just would be like, how did you do that? I'm like, and in the beginning, I didn't know how I did it because I didn't go to school for this, right? I don't have the degrees from so and so's school teaching of whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. And I would kind of doubt it. I'd be like, it was as if somebody did a performance. I'm like, hot damn, now how did you do that? And I'm like, oh, it was me. Oh my gosh, wait, what? What? And so after every like thing, like I would just be like, how did that happen? And I just finally started like, oh. And one of my clients, a beloved client named Tammy, just said, you came in with that. That's the thing. You were born.
Mhm.
So because it's really easy to go, but I didn't study that. How do I know that that's a past life thing and it was on your grandfather's side? But when she explained that, I know our souls have journeys and evolutions and iterations of whatever. And so that for me was, when I heard that, I was like, oh, I came in with these gifts. So then I could trust the gifts. And then it got really fast and it's really effective. It's just whiz bang stuff. And so I think I was hiding it for a really long time. And then I just started listening to clients, and they'd show up and they're like, I don't want to talk about marketing. Can you like pick up your pendulum? Like literally, like, could you? And I'm like, okay, what do you want? They're like, well, how come my sales aren't working? And I'm like, oh shoot, it's, you know what I mean? And so the clients just inform, like, yeah, it's cool. And maybe we'll talk about marketing someday, but nobody can answer this. I keep doing this. And then it's, so it's pretty, it's, saying yes to it was a very big and scary thing because I thought I would be laughed out of the business coaching space now that I'm a healer and doing weird energy stuff, right? And so it took a lot. And then when I put together the intuitive business mentor, and now I can explain it. I'm like, oh, this is a one-stop shop. Like, you don't need to go anywhere else, right? So it took a while to own it, but that was the turning point. It's just time, and finally, like, oh my gosh, oh my.
Yeah, I love all the people that want to call it a woo-woo space. And I'm like, you can call it woo-woo all you want. It's been around for thousands of years, and it actually is ingrained in you and it affects you. It's just that no one's ever really talked about it. But it's like anything else, it's like when, racing cars, I didn't know a lot of whole race car drivers are even on local tracks, and still I started racing. And then you start noticing where all the tracks are, you start noticing this stuff.
Exactly.
So when you do something like what you do, it's like, oh, now I know all kinds of, there's a lot more of them out there than I thought there was.
That's right. 100%.
And we're making a difference. So that's a good thing. So I know we're going to go into more about, especially why focusing on energy and embodiment is essential for personal and professional growth. But we got to take a break from our sponsors, and we're going to be right back so we can dig into that.
PTSD, anxiety, pain, insomnia, and many other ailments. Introducing Vibe, the world's only pocket PEMF device. You place in your pocket while cooking, cleaning, relaxing, watching TV, sitting at your computer, reading, or walking. Self-contained standalone device. No drugs. No other phone or Bluetooth connections required. No monthly subscription fees. No apps to download. No boson. The future of medicine is in the frequencies. Come join the revolution.
Here's what I know. You can't take your life out of your business, right? So I know you want a big, beautiful, yummy, mission-driven business, but I have to make sure we also have you a great life so you don't burn out. So when you work with me as the intuitive business mentor, I work on all parts. We customize everything we do to make sure your business really serves your life. You're making great money and helping the people and taking good care of yourself and your family. Reach out at thereseskelly.com. Lots of love. Bye now.
Whoops. Well, apologize for that. Technical issue.
Lost for a second, but now I'm back.
What I get for doing some of these things last minute. Right. Anyway, I love that, how you do that. So can you tell us a little bit about why focusing on energy and embodiment, why that is so important for personal and professional?
Oh, my. Yes. So I think in the West, in our culture a lot, Laura, we trust the brain. We trust our thoughts. If we can figure it out. And a lot of women, I work with mainly women that have had to be really strong, right? And we've had to, like, you're one of my sisters, right? Like it's just like, okay, I'll figure it out. I don't need anybody. And so we get this like overly reliant notion that we have to push through and we have to figure it out and that we can make things work until life kicks you in the head. It's like, really? Oh, girl, no. You need God. You need support. You need other people. Don't need to be so self-reliant, right? And so here's what happens. I'm just going to go my metaphor, right? So you get soul calling. Something comes in and says, you should do this. So it comes through whatever the intuitive channel. You're like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. Okay. So now what happens is our brain kicks in and it's like, oh, okay, let's make a plan. How's it going to go? And usually it goes like, are you kidding me? Oh, Jesus, really? You're kind of old. Like, who's going to listen to you? Blah, 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 right? Usually that's what happens. So that's the work I do, because we want you to hear this and then navigate that other part, that the contraction part. You got to navigate that. So let's say you navigate, you work with me or somebody like me, and you're like, okay, I pushed through all the scary thoughts and all the resistance. I'm good. Let's go. So I'll tell you a story. One of my clients, she was a service-based business owner, hands-on treatments.
Mm-hmm.
And for years, she was like, I have this product. She helps people with fertility issues. And I relate to that because I had some fertility challenges. So I'm like, we've got to get that product out in the market. Like, I know what it's like to struggle, right? And literally years, and I would stalk her lovingly. I'd be like, hey, ready to work with me? Get that out, right? Because I'm guided. Like, God, source, spirit saying to me, reach out to her. You need to help her with that. I'm like, okay, want to be a client, And I don't usually stalk people. I'm being playful, but I was really guided. Like, wow, I got to help her. So we had a session, and we totally crafted the whole. She wanted to do a digital course for this fertility stuff she's doing. She had it all mapped out. And I'm like, okay, cool. You ready? Now, one of the things I do is I take my pendulum and I say, how open are you to being able to roll this out, to receive this? And it was like, what? No, you're not open. What is going on? Like, we built it. Well, you've wanted to do this for 15 years. We finally said yes. It's all built. It's like everything's built. And she's like, So I tuned back in and I was like, here's the problem. I said, if you envision the energy of this course, where is it? And she said, it's out here somewhere. You can't sell something that it's not living in you. You can't do work that's, 3 blocks away. And so when I was trying to get her to strategy, like, okay, what are your next steps? And she's just like, that's when I'm like, okay, there's something wrong here. And when I said, okay, I want you to imagine the energy of this. What has to happen for you to pull this into your body and be like, I am I can feel it now. I can feel it like, I'm doing that. I'm the woman who teaches this. Oh yes, I can stand. And she had to make some shifts, and then she pulled it in, and it was like, okay, now we could sell it. And a lot of people don't talk about that. So I work with embodiment and I work with identity, right? So what happens when you go to build something, most people give you the tactics. Okay, you need to, who is your client? What are their problems? Blah, 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 which is good. You need to know all that stuff, right?
Right.
But if you, like when I first started, I had such imposter syndrome. I'm like, I was just a therapist. I'm a freaking prison guard. What do I know? I don't know business. Like, I was such an imposter. I had the identity of a person that was not enough. That I literally would go, I'm sorry, I was a therapist. I'm sorry. And people would be like, that's why I hired you? Like, that's like a really big thing. Thank you. I love that you're there. And I'd be like, really? Because I had my own issues of not enoughness and having to overgive and prove. And so there's the put it on paper, get it all mapped out. But then the biggest shift is, who are you to roll that out? Like, so for Laura, you, my girl, what's the identity of the woman that's like, I could just have a TV show? At one point, you weren't that woman, right? You might have.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely was not that woman.
So there had to be a shift of like, wow, I am a TV host. I'm a woman who does this. And what you always say is like, well, I'm not like super experienced. I'm kind of new. So in spite of being kind of newish, you still did it. So there was something in there about identity, like, it's in me. There's a TV show in me, and I am the host. As opposed to, someday I'll do a TV. Oh God, I don't know what to look. See what I mean? So that's an example of embodiment, working with the identity. So you embody the thing, and then like, who is Laura as host of the show? That's the identity. Do you want to share?
Oh, yeah. Well, I can tell you for sure that, and I've told people before that I've watched, if anyone would have ever asked me if I would have been doing this, it would have been no.
Exactly.
Mm-mm.
Exactly.
I was the one that didn't even want to. So the best speech class I ever had was interpersonal speech, because I did not have to get up and give a speech. So that was my favorite, because I do not like getting up in front of people and talking.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I would have never told anybody I would be here. But the more people and stuff that I got around, and I started out just by doing like little interviews, and people were loving it. And I'm like, well, okay. And then the opportunity came. I thought, well, that's just another step. Okay. Yeah. Still has its nervousness and all this stuff. I'll tell you, you can watch a first episode of season 1. I figure people can just watch me grow and grow with me.
Right. That's right. That's right. But see, that's a perfect example of, you get a little nudge and you start, because the mind is going to mess you up, like the part that's going to contract and take you out of it. If it would have said to you, okay, I want to be, if it would have said, okay, well, you have to have a TV show and you have to have guests and you have it really automated, you'd be like, oh, good, hell no. But if it was like, just feel like, well, interview, it like kind of sneaks. Like that's how it usually works for us. Just, I always say it's an experiment. It's just an experiment. I'm not committing, I'm experimenting, right? And so we just take one little tiny step and you're like, oh, okay, that didn't kill me. Okay, I'll do, right? And then it gets here. That's how the soul works in what we're supposed to be expressing in the world. But if it told you the whole plan ahead of time, you'd be like,
no, and that's like everybody kept saying, oh, I want to be on your podcast. I was like, it's not a podcast, it's just an interview. And now they're calling it a podcast. I'm like, it's not a podcast, it's a TV show. There's a difference. There's a difference.
Bigger thing. That's right.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird how that changed and escalated, because before it's like, yeah, no, it wasn't a podcast. It's like, okay, well, I'm still not a podcast, but now I'm a TV show. So.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, little steps. So what practical steps would you give individuals to take so that they can begin to create their own identity? It's in life and business, because I don't know about anybody else, but I always had that. You get the imposter syndrome and you get around certain coaches and they tell you, no, fake it till you make it. You just throw it out there, create it later, it'll come. I mean, you get so many advice and things that you're trying to follow. I always found that it was great, but it took me too long to figure out that I had to use what was pertinent to me, and so I didn't lose myself in it, because otherwise I would lose myself. It wasn't working.
So well said. So well said. And I think, let me back up. What do I want to say? See, they're telling me what to say. Like the guys, I must say this. I need to say this. I was on a podcast earlier today and I said the same thing, but it needs to be repeated. It's kind of like, what's your why? Right. So too often this is some industry education. And I have made mistakes. It sounds like you might have made mistakes. Is I have hired people hoping they would save me. If I just learn her marketing for me, oh my God, then it's going to work. Right. Or, oh my God, if I just get that, like I'm not enough. And the truth is, we're mentors. I'm a mentor. I know more than you do in some things, right? That's what a mentor is. I can walk you in things. But I will never say, Laura, this is my formula, damn it. You don't follow my formula. You're wrong and bad, and you're going to be a stinky cat lady, right? Dog lady in your case. Yeah. And so the challenge is, number one, why are you doing it? Is it because you're trying to prove? Is it because it's somebody else's thing? Is it like you have to really suss out, like, what's the why here? What's the, like, I think if you start there, there. What's the why? Because a lot of, like, I teach a thing called embodied goals. Of course, everything I do is embodied and aligned and all the things. And one of those really is are you doing it for you? Or are you doing it for somebody else? Are you doing it to win favor? Are you doing it to please? Are you doing it like, oh, well, my father said, I can't be a lawyer, so I have to do this. Like, so you want in the beginning, get really clear on what your why is. And when I work with clients, you saw my little commercial, everything is customized. Mm-hmm. I have ideas. I'll say, Laura, you know what? Let's have you do this. And if your body's like, you can screw off, girl, there's no way. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make you wrong because it worked with me. Right. I'm going to say, okay, let's knowing your energy, knowing your limits, maybe you don't want to work 40 hours. Maybe you want to play with your honey. Maybe you want to do, we all have our things that matter to us. So you want to get somebody that's like, what are your values? Hopefully they align with my values. Number one, make sure you work with it. And then how do we design a business or a goal, a life goal, on doing it within your values? So that's the most important thing. Because otherwise you're going to feel like you spent $10,000 for this program. Like, what is wrong with me? I couldn't make it work.
Yeah, I've been done that.
Been there, done that.
Although I've decided to just call it a learning lesson. Wasn't a failure. I learned what I needed to, and I learned what I wanted to do and what I didn't want to do from it. So
yeah, I paid $5,000 to be reminded that that's not how I want to coach. Wow, glad I just spent $5,000 to know that I don't do it that way, right? And it's all good. We all make those. So that's a part of it. So kind of like that. Wasn't your question like, how do you become, like, because I just went on a total rant. So no, you're saying again, because I think it was important to say that, because a lot of people get kind of like, swept into other stuff. So Tell me again the essence of your questions about how do you start or how do you get.
Yeah. So how can somebody start to find what that is for them to be true, basically to be true themselves, what steps would you tell them to start with? So they don't have imposter syndrome.
Oh, well, when I was just a life coach in the beginning, I had somebody, I had somebody say, because I was like, I'm afraid. And they said, that's okay. Because I think it's like, I can't do it until I'm not afraid, as opposed to, or I can't do it because I don't feel confident. It's like, that's okay. It can walk alongside. So what I do is I'm like, okay, I'm doing this because God's called me to do this. Oh, isn't that interesting? There's a part of me that's telling me that like it's gonna flop, or there's a part of me that's like, but whatever the thing is.
Right.
And I'm like, you're so adorable. Thank you for that. That's okay. See what I mean? If we try to pretend that's not there, or if we allow that to stop us, we're missing out. So I love resistance. Most people are like, because so whatever, if I say, okay, Laura, here's a really big goal, like, and you'd be like, well, that's really scary. I'm like, cool. What is that? Tell me right there what it is. That's where the stuff is. That's where you like, if you can mine that and go, wow, there's a part of me that, so you have to kind of pull it out. Like, oh, there's a part of me that doesn't think I deserve it. Okay. Is that yours? Is that your family's? Is it true? Right. So you have to, that's where you have to do the work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I would think that's the hardest part, is pulling it out, because
It's the hardest part. That's why people
depending on the
me.
person, if you're
Right.
an overthinker and you're trying to think so that you can give them what you think is supposed to be the correct answer.
Right. Well, that's why people come to me. That is my genius is finding that and getting rid of that. So that's part of it, because I don't want you like, I want to do it. I've got the message. Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe I shouldn't. Because a way you know that you're in the grip of like what's called like a conflicting intention, right? A part of me wants to this, a part of me wants to that, is a stop start. I'm going to do it. Oh, yikes. Wait a minute. I got to go. I have to research. I'm going to do it. Oh, but wait, hold. I got to take another coaching course. I'm going to do it like this.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in that, there's a part of you that doesn't feel safe. That means something from the unconscious is coming in going, not doing that, right? And it could be like, nobody in your family has ever made that much money. Nobody ever has had a TV show in in your family before. No women were given permission to do X, right? It's the unconscious stuff. It's like, wow. So the questions are like, what is stopping me? You know, who would I become? Like, is it some, is it, I'm afraid, like when I was younger as a mom, I was like, what is wrong? I'm like, oh, I'm afraid if I get more successful, I'll get so busy and I'll neglect my children. So there's the part that like gas, I want to do this. Then the subconscious is like, yeah, but you're going to suck as a mom. Okay, never mind. Break. And so that's kind of the work. So that's the piece that I do.
Right.
Ways you can come to me or do this kind of work. But you basically want to say, okay, imagine if it were already done. I love this. I love this idea. It's already done. What does that feel like? So let's say you're thinking of starting something. Maybe it's one of the things I did. One of my success stories is I found a woman, great love. Because she came to me and said, you're in a great relationship with your partner. Can you do it for me? And I'm like, oh, okay. And we worked together, and I'm going to her wedding in 3 weeks. I'm like,
oh, nice.
Dang, I did it. And she will say, you did it. Because I cleared her. I did all that stuff to her. So that surprised me, right? That I'm okay. I'm not really a matchmaker. I'm not really a love coach, but it's all energy. It's all emotion. It's all. And so with her, I'd say, I know you're insecure. You don't think you're going to attract anybody. Visualize the end. Visualize in your body what it's going to feel like. Imagine you're walking down the aisle. Imagine that this chapter of, dating jerks is over. And so some of it is we begin to paint pictures of like, oh. So it's like, it's so far away. It's never going to happen to like, you want to like bring it closer by envisioning it, feeling it. And then I'm a woman who is attracted to an amazing man. Like I am a this. That's the identity piece. So then it's kind of like, okay, I'm having that. You've got to decide. I'm having, that's what I'm having. Then your mind's going to be like, what? Shh, stop. Go lie down. I'm having that. And then you're going to be like, okay, God, what's next? Show me what's next. And then it'll be like, oh, in fact, this is a really funny story. Somebody said, oh, you should meet my dad. And this woman was like, nope, he's too old. And I'm like, I don't care. No, 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 no. You were stop it, because her mind was going to sabotage it, right? And I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't care. Go on a coffee date. And now they're getting married in 3 weeks. And so that's the thing. But you have to kind of like, oh, I could be this person instead of I'll never be this. I haven't been this. I don't know. Because once we say yes, once we decide, and then we kind of wait, the next steps are always like you just said. And then I had an opportunity to do a like everything is always given to us in the little baby steps that we can handle them. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you can see how important that would be, even if it's in your business or even if you're working a job. And I've always said you can do anything you put your mind to. So
Mhm.
if
Mhm.
you're putting more positive things or those vibrations or frequencies or the energy out
Yeah.
there, right? That, oh, I can see this. This is what I can do. Then your brain is going to work to help you do
Right.
it.
Right. Yes.
Except for if you let all those roadblocks get in your way, then yeah, you
Right.
sabotage yourself. So I would definitely see how it would be very important to have someone, like you, because if nothing else, I'm sure you'll call them out on their BS and say,
Oh, girl,
no,
let me tell
no,
you a story about that. I'll tell you a story. I was already had the story queued up.
go right
So
ahead.
I work with a lot of, my main group is small business owners, women that are, but then I work with, and I'm doing love coaching now, and I was working
Mhm.
with a woman that was in a corporate situation, and she wanted a promotion. And she's so mad. She keeps not getting it, not getting it. She's just like, I'm not getting this promotion. I'm like, okay. So I'm tuning in, and I say, why does it matter? Because again, the why. Remember I said earlier, I
Mhm.
said, tell me, honey, why this matters. And she said, because if I get this promotion, then it means, she literally said these words, then I will proven that I will have proven to them that I'm good enough. I kind of like, wrong.
Yeah.
That's the wrong answer, because anytime it comes from proving energy, or I have to get that to validate me. And so I'm like, and you will never get a promotion. They will always see you as super qualified, but somehow always pass you by because you're in proving energy. And she had no idea that's what she was putting out. So I'm like, okay, let's figure out where that comes from. And then you when you come from a different place, and she started getting all sassy, because before she was letting the boss walk on her, she just like,
Right.
nope, I'm not overworking, nope, 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 right? And I'm like, but that's an example. That's how I would stop that and say, okay, that's the wrong. So you always want to ask you to start with a why. What? And sometimes it's like, it would get me more money. Okay, cool. That's good enough. That
Yeah.
might be good enough. Is there anything else? Like, don't judge it, but just keep going. Why? If it's, then mommy will finally love me. Then I'll finally get back on my boyfriend. You're like, oh, girl, get out of that. That's never going to work. Right. So,
Yeah, and the first thing out of your mouth should not be that someone else approves. I mean, it took me years. I had to keep catching myself. It's like, why does that matter? It matters what I think
yes.
and how I feel.
Yes.
Whatever they think doesn't. If they don't understand it, that's fine. That's them. That's their perception. That's their right. But
No. But a lot of this is it's the conditioning, Laura. Like, we are
Mhm.
conditioned that women like, did I do a good job? Did is that how you wanted it? Are you okay?
Right.
And so a lot of the work I do and I think the collective, we're kind of deconditioning. Do I have to have everybody love me? Actually not. Like, do I have to do it with the consensus and, well, 9 out of 10 voted for me? Nah, I can just follow my guidance and what. So the shift for me working this kind of soul-led thing is I don't follow the rules. What? I kind of go, what does my body need? What would be yummy? What would be restorative? What works with my family and my life and my values? And I know you're supposed to do it that way because that's what the rules say. And I'm like, I'm old enough. I can say F the rules, right? Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
no,
Right.
no, I'm following my own I'm sovereign. I get to choose. But it's deconditioning that a lot of stuff that we've been raised with.
Yeah, and you and I were both raised in the same generation, the same thing, and now you have other ones, and sometimes people are looking at them as like they're lazy, and it's like, no, they just have a better way or a different thought process of doing
Mhm.
something. It just wasn't the way we did.
Mhm. That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. No, I love all that, and so it is important because it's if you're not doing what you're truly meant to do, which I
Yeah.
would say is soul driven and based, you're really not happy, and you're not really living the existence that you should be.
Exactly. And not everybody's going to turn that into a business. Maybe your soul expression is to make beautiful music, and you work a job that supports you to make beautiful music, right? Or maybe your soul expression is to be an artist or find deep love, or I just saw your picture of dolphins in Atlantis, right? Like to explore. It doesn't have to, like, it's cool if you can monetize that, because that's kind of, I think for you and I, probably we're living, our mission is also through our business. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't. There's no wrongness to, oh, I have a job. No. Like, let that fund the soul's work in your life.
Oh, well, mentioning dolphins, yeah, I've met a lady that obviously you can make a living because she holds retreats swimming with wild dolphins and wild whales. And I'm like, you want to talk about what a life? Just go from beach to
Oh my
beach or
gosh.
in the oceans and go.
Exactly. That's totally it. That's right.
and helping people all at the same time. So kind of proof that anything is possible. So what's one of the things that you do to help your clients overcome the fears and the doubts that they're creating a new identity?
Well, you have to understand, like if I could, I'm just gonna use my little thing here. Imagine this is a little camera. And so there's me living the world, and then there's me observing me living in the world. And then there's the God part that's put that observer to watch, because most people just live kind of unconsciously. Right? They're like, I don't know. It's like with my clients, I'm also coaching a 20-year-old. It's so adorable. It's really fun to get a very young one to like kind of help mold her, because I usually work with middle-aged women, right?
Right.
20-year-old women. And she'll be like, oh, I had a terrible day. And I'm like, okay, stop. What were you thinking? Because she's like, I don't know what happened. I just have a bunch of anxiety. And I'm like, no, you didn't. You didn't just get a bunch of anxiety, right? Like, you didn't witness a car wreck or a murder, right?
Right.
So FYI, let's just do some teaching here. It's our thoughts create an experience in our bodies. And if they're like thoughts like, oh my God, it's never going to work. Nobody's going to like you. You're going to fail. The body is going to go, it's going to pop into a hyper alert situation. And it's going to remind you of like, see, like that and like that. And then your body is going to have a feeling of anxiety or fear, and then sometimes, to take it to the fight flight thing, then sometimes it just shuts down. It's like, it just goes super numb. And so if you're in a state that you don't like, now sometimes, if I had a couple cocktails and maybe eat a bunch of corn chips and had some ice cream for dessert, the next day I'm like, ooh, Lordy. I'm like, user error, girl.
Oh yeah.
You know better. You cannot have 2 drinks and corn chips. That's going to mess with you. So sometimes it's legit what you put in your body. Or maybe you overexercise, or maybe you're not hydrated, right?
Right.
And if you're like, that is so weird, I was great yesterday, I feel like I'm just dragging today. I'm like, well, I have dark thoughts. You don't want to just go, okay, well, I guess I'll just live it out. You go, okay, stop.
What did I do?
What did I do? Who did I run into? Like, what? So is there something going on in the world? Like, did I, people in Canada, some are happy, some are freaked out right now with the election, right? So is there something that, and if it is, if you ascertain, but you have to ask the questions. You have to be like, what is up with oh, it's not the corn chips. Yeah, she's smart. She didn't eat corn chips. Like, oh, it's the world things. It got on her. So then it's up to me to go, is this my energy? Is it? Because your body, Laura, if you just say truth,
right,
this energy is mine, yes or no, your body's going to go no or yes. If it's not yours, go get it off. Right. So that's the first one. So it's literally an energetic that you've walked into. Or the other one is what were you thinking? Because if I have the thought that like everybody loves me, any room I walk into, people are going to just find me delightful. I'm sorry, I'm itching my nose. Apologies. Yeah. If I have the thought like, gosh, Laura and I are going to have the greatest interview. We're going to really help people. I'm going to come. I'm just going to. But if I was like, God, what if I suck? Laura's probably had so many people better than me, and I'm going to screw it up. What's going to happen to my physiology? Because what I'm telling my body's like, all right, I'll be anxious, sure. But we don't even know that we have those little subliminal thoughts. So that's the first thing. So you are the master of your domain. Imagine this is your territory, like the entrepreneur of me. This is it, right? So you always want to track, like, what was I thinking? And then you go, oh, I started comparing. So then it's like, so with my clients, sometimes with my little 20-year-old, I'll say, what would I tell you? And she'd go, you would tell me that it's going to be fine. And I'm doing, and I'm like, okay, insert me for you, right? Because you got the little stinking thinking here, and just
Right.
go. But if she doesn't stop herself, she'll be 3 days in a freeze state, feeling terrible about her life. If she can grab it and go, I've done it again. What would Therese say? And eventually, what would Therese say is what she will say to herself.
Yeah.
I'm just like imprinting a new tool into her of like, wait, okay, stop. Look at the future. Look at what's actually working, not the perceived fearful things that are going to break down. Right. So those are some tools. But it's so, like, you call it mindful Mondays. You have to be mindful of what's going on in your body and your mind and your emotions.
You do. So we have about 3 minutes left. I know you and I could keep going.
Girl, we could, yeah. We'll go part 2. We'll come back. Yeah.
Yeah. So you do have your YouTube channel, right?
Yes.
At Therese Skelly, that people can connect with you with.
Mm-hmm.
And then also your website, is that the best place for them to connect with you?
Yeah. And email, just go ts@thereseskelly.com. Like, ask me questions. What you should know me, Laurel, I'm super relational. Like, if you go, hey, you talked about that thing, what, like, I welcome, because there are a lot of people who are like, I hate to answer my, I'm like, oh my God, somebody wrote to me. I'm an extrovert, right? I love the connection. So if you literally ask me a question, reach out, I'm happy to, give you an answer or connect with you.
Yeah. So what advice do you want to leave everybody with today?
One thing I think that's really, really important is if it's in your soul to do, it has to happen, right? Like I always say, I thank God I was never given the task to be an accountant, because I would be destroying businesses, right? That is so out of my realm.
Right.
So if you get the instinct, like, oh my gosh, I think I'm supposed to do this, then call on God to support you. Like, okay, I say yes, show me the way. It's literally your soul's design. It's like, this is what you're here for in this life. And then you'll start noticing, like, that's so weird. That thing I did 2 years ago, it's perfect for this. Like, you could probably say that with yourself, like, oh, I didn't know that weird little thing I did was going to be, oh my God. It's literally, and you'll see the thread of, like, you're just being guided, and every life experience was for you to do this work for you right now. So just trust it and say yes. That's what I would say.
Yeah. And that's really incredible. I so love your energy. The fact that you are an extrovert. I am not. I'm an ambivert, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I love your energy. And obviously it's easy to see that you're very relational and, easy to talk to. So yeah, anyone that wants to know even more details, because I know we kind of like almost even barely scratched the surface. There's a lot more we could dig into. Yeah. So if you're struggling to find your identity, or find your purpose or your business, your path, reach out to Therese, and you won't be sorry. I'm probably do a complimentary call or get to know.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Right.
Yeah. So absolutely. So reach out to her. And Therese, thank you so much for coming here and bringing all of your wonderful energy with you. I appreciate you. So everybody have a great week, and we will see you next Monday.